Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Gina and we have another day of Veda. Today is the 20 questions book tag. I was not tagged by anybody. I just felt like doing it. So here we go. Question number 1. How many books are too many for a series? I think this depends. If you're have to read in order, like in a continuation, like you can't read book 6 without reading books 1 through 5, then maybe like a max should be like 4 or 5 books. But if it's just books all set like in the same world type of series, especially like some romance books, I don't know. I don't have a limit. It's whatever. Like Christine Feehan, her dark series about Carpathians. I think we're going on book 30, and I don't care. I love them. I want them all. Keep them coming. Itchy. Question 2. Cliffhangers, yes or no? I don't know if I really care either way. I guess it also, if I'm reading them as they come out, like I'm still waiting on for books to come out, it's gonna be kind of irritating. Having to wait a year or whatever to get that cliffhanger, and then probably I don't like to reread books. I don't reread books, so I'd have to like find the internet somewhere on how the book ended if I didn't remember or something. I don't know. But if I'm binging an old series, I guess, I don't have that weight, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah. Number 3, hardcover or paperback? Once again, I don't care. I used to overwhelmingly check out paperbacks from the library. Before I had a way to read a book on my phone, paperback, 100%. They were smaller, pliable, easier to fit in purses and bags, so I could read wherever I wanted to read. Plus they're cheaper than hardcovers. But nowadays I don't really buy a ton of books. I check them out from the library, and since if I'm reading outside of my house, I can read on my phone, so the portability doesn't matter anymore. And I do say that I like the aesthetic of hardcovers these days. If I were to have really awesome bookshelves and to buy books because I reread them and whatnot, I probably would splurge on hardcovers. But as of now, libraries, I get them library books, I could care less. I get them both. I don't like verify which copy I'm checking out from the library. There's no need for that. Question number 4, what is your favorite book? If you saw my booktube newbies tag, I don't like these questions. I don't like the word favorite. I don't have favorite things. I don't have a favorite book. I could narrow it down and say a favorite book so far in 2021, maybe. Also, just like, it's hard because of all the different genres I read. Like, I would say my favorite romance was How to Catch a Queen by Alyssa Cole. My favorite middle grade was Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston. And my favorite fantasy was We Hunt the Flame by Hafsa Faizal so far. Yeah, okay. Least favorite book. Same setup, man. I have learned, and I just was thinking about this. I watched a spoilers tag, and I don't necessarily care too much about spoilers. It's not going to ruin the enjoyment, I guess, for most of the stuff that I read. Anyway, I don't want like a super big spoiler, but I almost always like try to read the entire synopsis. I know some people just like to get like skim and pick out, words. Or what was I watching? Maddie from Book Browsing Blog wants to know as little as possible going in. But I've found that I have a pretty good idea by reading a synopsis whether I will like the book or not. I'm more likely to come across 2 and 3 stars if I go into it blind. And there are so many books out there. I don't want to waste my time on a 2-star. I'm okay with wasting my time on a 3-star, but not a 2-star or a DNF. I don't want to do that. I don't like it. Sometimes you get surprised, but so I don't read too many books that I don't like, because I know I'm gonna like it going in. I would say my least favorite book there was this one that I read last year. I mean, there was like a Kindle Unlimited book that I read that was just trash, like indie self-published, but I mean, you knew it was going to be trash. Like, I knew going into it. Like, it was just a quick read for a readathon prompt. But there's a book that I'm pretty sure I DNF'd it. So I should be able to look it up quick because I have a DNF list. And this is not saying that this is a bad book. It's just not a book that I could get into. And it was called What We All Long For by Dion Brand. Its rating is not horrible. It was too, I don't even know. I honestly can't even describe that book to you, because I did not. I ended up like skimming to the end just to see if maybe it was going to get better, but no. So, no. Yeah. What was that? Least favorite genre, though, is usually classics, because I can't. It's too hard for me to get into. I struggle with that writing. Number 6, love triangles, yes or no? I don't hate them, but they're not my favorite. I'm poly, and so half times I read these, and either it's like super obvious, like, why? You just want that D? Like, why? And then if they're both like really decent guys, I'm like, both? Can we just keep both? I just want to see it happen more often where they're like, yeah, you love him, we love you, I'm not threatened, and I can work through my jealousy because probably problems. Um, 7, most recent DNF. Like I said, I don't usually DNF. I haven't DNF'd anything this year yet. And I think I had 4 DNFs last year. One wasn't necessarily a DNF. It was just I don't have time for this history book right now. And someday I'll come back to it. And the most recent one was December, and that was The Curse of My Let Me Find a Random Book to Fit a Readathon, which I really gotta not do that anymore. But this one is an older book from the 70s, and was like to read a translated work. It's the Summer Book by Tove Jansson. And it just wasn't for me. There wasn't really like a plot. It was Finnish. I think it was like a little island off of Finland. And I learned a lesson. If you see the word, what was the word they used? Vignettes. It was like just little snapshot moments of their summer, this grandma and her daughter, this summer on this island, and I was just like, can something happen? I don't know. It just wasn't for me. But the ratings are fantastic, so nothing against the book at all. I could like logically tell that it was good writing and whatnot. It was just not my cup. Oh my god, we gotta go faster. Question number 8. What are you currently reading? I tend to read a lot at one time, especially lately. It wasn't like this before. I'm gonna lie. It's just been the past like month or two. I've just been very restless and squirrel, and all of these books are fantastic, but I need something new every like 2 hours. So I'm currently in the middle of, I started Rosewater today by Tade Thompson. Oh, I technically have not started this yet, but I'm about to. I am over halfway done with Beloved by Toni Morrison. This is a very slow read for me, which is why I'm okay. The other physical book I'm in the middle of, this chunkamunker, The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. Not too far into that, but that's okay because I'm trying to save this for the tome topple, because I know you can, I think I've already started books. And then Becca's Bookathon, because this is February. Not February, March. We're in the month of March, even though you're seeing this in April. And then I also always have an audiobook that I'm in the middle of, and currently that one is Root Magic by Eden Royce, I think. And I also currently have 2 ebooks that I'm in the middle of that I've started. The Priory of the Orange Tree, that one's also a bigger book that I'm slowly reading, like maybe 50 to 100 pages a day, depends. And then I also just started Wolf Song by TJ Klune today because it's due back in 6 days, so I needed to get it started. That's what I'm currently reading. Too much, I know. The last book I recommended, I don't know if I don't, actually, I guess it would be for the Avengers Initiative in that little in our Discord for that reading challenge. Somebody asked about recommendations for books about dragons, and I gave probably a handful, including Serafina, which I really liked, Rage of Dragons, which I enjoyed, and The Priory, which I haven't finished, but I'm enjoying so far. So yeah, that's what I recently recommended. Question number 10, the oldest book I've read. I looked this up before. It's Little Women, I think, is the oldest book I read, and I didn't realize how old that book was. If that publishing date was correct, that book is super, super old, but I have read it. And I think that's the oldest one I've read. At least that's the oldest one I have on my Goodreads, as have been read. That made sense, right? Okay, the newest read, question number 11. I actually have 2 books that I just read, one this month, one last month, that had the same publishing date of January 19th, and that was Remote Control by Maddie and Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Elston. Ooh, number 12. Favorite author. Remember what I said about this word? I can't give you one favorite author. Long-standing favorites of mine that basically one of them is an auto read. I don't care what it is. Christine Feehan. I love all of her series. I am reading it automatically. Might even buy it. Don't buy a lot of books. I buy Christine Feehan. The other one, I don't read all of their books because they are multiple genre writer, and that's Nora Roberts. I'm not really into her books where she writes as J.D. Robb. Just don't seem like my thing. But all of her like trilogies, all of them, I'll read them. They're like romance mixed with a little bit of thriller or whatnot, or magic. Those are good. And then there's also a recent favorite, also romance, Alyssa Cole. Love her so much. And then fantasy. I never really had a favorite fantasy author before now, but I would definitely say Nettie Okorafor, Dr. Okorafor, as well as N.K. Jemisin are both. So yeah, I've been loving everything that I read by them so far. So, question number 13: buying or borrowing? Borrowing. It's a weird word. I feel weird about. No, that's not right. So I mainly borrow books, library. I have Kindle Limited. I have Scribd. Mainly because I don't reread, as I've said before. It's very rare. The only times I think I've ever reread a book is if it's been like over a decade since the last time I read it. A lot of time has to have passed. There's so many books out there. Like, I can't spend all my time rereading books that I've already read. No. I want new things. I want to try new things. And if I do have a few extra dollars, like I did buy some purchases the end of last year, beginning of this year, and I try to buy with purpose, so authors of color, especially women, I'm sorry, I'm thirsty. Yeah, though, if I ever like won the lottery or had like a ton of extra money and the space, I still love the aesthetic of like a library room with wall to ceiling, or wall to ceiling, floor to ceiling, shelves, I would splurge to fill those shelves and then read those books, give them to the library, or donate them, fill them again. Like, that would be my library. Question 14. A book you dislike that everyone loves. Like I said, I'm very picky about what I read, so there's not a lot of books that I've read, and I've read, last year I read 206, I think. This year I've read around 50 so far, or something like that. And I've only DNF'd 4, and I've only rated 2 or 3 under a 3-star, maybe 2 books. So yeah, I would say out of the books that I've just liked so far that I've heard people talk about would be Patsy. Can't remember who the author is. I'll put it on the screen. And I don't know. It's not a bad book. She's a good writer. It was a good story. I was not prepared, I think, for the mother-daughter relationship in the book. I couldn't take it. It's viable. It's just not my cuppa. Or also, one I just finished, it's in the other room, that seems to have a lot of like super high ratings on Goodreads. And I can logically like see why people love this, I guess. But it just wasn't for me. Long Division by Keith Lehman. I know I want to read other stuff by him. This is also one of the reasons why I tend to gravitate towards books written by women, and then books with women characters, main characters. I do not. Boys are gross. This kid's language in this book was like, "Where's your mama?" It was not for me. It was like every other word. It was just like, and the time travel was just hard to follow for me. 15. Bookmarks or dog ears? I get most of my books from the library, and that's just rude, in my opinion, to dog ear a book that is not yours. So I use bookmarks. And in the past, it's been very much just like whatever scrap of paper I can find. But I've actually recently got some bookmarks in some gift boxes, and I just realized that I love bookmarks. Like, they're just, especially pretty ones. Like this one I got in a book box, and I just love the like, oh, I can't see it. Hold on. The like fox on there, or whatever that is. I love that. And then the bookmark I got from G for her joining her Patreon. Like, oh, wrong side. Like, this thing is just flippin' gorgeous. Anyway, number 16. A book you can always reread. Once again, I don't reread books, so I don't have an answer for this one. I don't. Yeah. No. Number 17. Can you read while listening to music? I mean, maybe like instrumental or classical? Maybe. I don't think I would read very well listening to a song that had lyrics, especially if it was a song I was enjoying, I have a tendency, even if I don't know the words, to start singing a song. Like, I'm not a great singer, but I love to sing. So, yeah, it would be a conflict of interest there. So definitely would have to be instrumental for sure. Question 18, one POV or multiple, doesn't matter. Depends on how well they do it. I've read books I liked that have had both. Question 19, can you read a book in one sitting or multiple days? Once again, depends on the book. If it's and on how busy I am or whatnot. If it's a middle grade or some romances, I can do it in one, not necessarily one sitting. I've got 2 kids, so I gotta get up, let the dog out, eat, but I could finish it in a day. And sometimes I do when I stay up way too late to do so. But bigger books, definitely multiple days. Classics, Toni Morrison books, multiple days. Non-fictions, unless maybe it's a quick memoir, over multiple days. Fantasies, multiple days. So it just depends. Last question, who do you tag? You know what? Back at ya. I'm gonna tag Time to Unbind. But other than that, I don't know who to tag. So if you want to do this tag, feel free to do it. And we're going to end it here because we don't want to go over the 30-minute mark. I'm trying really hard. But I hope you enjoyed this. And I will catch you later in the next one.